do you have any other maybe more pressing issues or things that you want to talk about as far as radon, other myths that you
Yeah,
hear?
weather. The weather. I want to talk about the weather because a lot of times you'll get someone who will say, hey, it's raining outside. I don't want you to do this test. Well, guess what? It rains in Fort Wayne and it rains everywhere, right? In Indiana. What the protocol does have some things built in about weather, and it's severe weather. And it's severe weather defined by, the National Weather Service. So you're talking about really heavy winds or crazy amounts of rain in a very short period of time. And what's great though about the instruments that we use in professional testing is that we can see that on the graphs. We can see that the weather came through because those instruments also log the weather, okay? And then we can see that the radon levels changed because of the weather. A great example I can give you is this. We had a radon test done where we set it on a Friday, picked it up on Monday in a neighborhood that was villas. So they all looked the same. And this footprints of these houses were exactly the same. And they were right across the street from each other, literally. It was kind of cool that we had, a villa on one side of the street, the same villa on the other side of the street. And a storm came through that weekend. And on one of the tests, completely fine test, 2.5, I think. Okay, no weird weather showing up on there that affected their radon levels. The weather was on there, but the radon levels were consistent. At the other villa across the street, you did see a storm spike in the graph, and the weather did affect things at that house, and it tested at 9, okay, because of a big spike. And so we like to say, we're not going to avoid the weather when we test. We're going to let the test sit there and see what we get, because weather can affect your test, but it might not. We want to see what we get first before we go further in discussing should we test some more, or conduct another test without adverse weather. So we do see that sometimes it affects it. The other thing about weather is it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not accurate. So if your house is one of those houses where every time it's, got a storm rolls in, and you're going to have higher levels at that time because that's just how things are in that house, you should have mitigation systems so that levels are good all the time. I have heard people say that they're definitely putting a system in because they don't want to have to avoid the basement or whatever during adverse weather. Now, we all know this is a long-term, health effect, but I try to encourage people that even with bad weather, let's just see what we get first to see if there's a concern, and then we can talk about it after that. So, yeah.